Let's look at the Lab 2. Lab 2 is still anatomical terminology. So your job is to be familiar with those anatomical terminology. So in this lab, you need to be able to identify the cavities in your body. You have the dorsal cavity, you have the ventral cavity. And the dorsal cavity can be divided into the cranial, the spinal cavity. And the ventral cavity can be divided into the thoracic, abdominal, pelvic cavity. And abdominal pelvic can be divided into the abdominal and the pelvic one. So I will give you a picture. I will show you, name this cavity. So you need to be able to identify that's the dorsal one, and can be divided into the cranial and spinal, and the ventral cavity can be divided into the thoracic, abdominal, pelvic. And if I point at a very low area, and you know that's the pelvic cavity. If it's higher, that's the abdominal cavity. And I can give you an organ, ask you, this organ you can find in what cavity. So you need to know those big organs and what cavity they are located in. And the second activity, you need to be able to know those 4 different quadrants. The abdominal pelvic cavity can be divided into 4 different quadrants. You have the right upper, the left upper, the right lower, left lower quadrants. I can give you an organ, ask you your liver stay in what quadrant. So your liver is in the right upper quadrant, that's around here. I can ask you your appendix is in what quadrant. Your appendix is in the right lower quadrant. And I won't ask you your bladder because your bladder is right in the center. That's why we need to have 9 different regions. So you have 9 different regions. If I ask you your bladder is in what region, and it will be the hypogastric region, that's around here. So your abdominal pelvic cavity can be divided into 4 different quadrants and 9 different regions. So your job for this lab is be familiar with those terminology.